Welcome, welcome, and welcome to the NexGen show. My name is Ham, and I'm happy to meet up with you all again in this episode. This NexGen show is all about meeting new people, new voices, especially the younger ones in our industry, and listen to what they have to say and talk about their hopes and aspirations. In today's episode, we will meet a person who is very well versed in research, market research. And we will learn about market insights. Hopefully, the discussion will reveal to you some observations about the Malaysian market that could be of value to you. So, it is my pleasure to introduce today Fara Musa. Welcome, Fara.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you for being here. Now, let's start with your background in research, yeah? And now you are active also in the advertising and media space, yeah? Tell us about why from research, right? Now you've moved into the advertising and media space. Why?
I mean, for me, growing up and I've always lived abroad and like kind of tried to understand of like how do I connect myself or adapt myself to people, right? And when I came back here and my first job was like, I wanted to work in startup, to be honest. I didn't really look for market research as a job, but I did study economics. Mm-hmm. And when I looked at market research, it's just something that I was like, hey, I do all these studies and I can help brands to understand themselves better or connect the gap. It's not understand them better, it's understand their audience better.
Okay.
And I like the idea of bridging the gap.
All right.
Yeah, and I wanted people to understand people better. It's the same thing as a human connection, right? It's like when someone disagrees or something, they're coming from a certain background or a certain environment.
Of course.
And you have to take a step back and understand where they're coming from. And it's the same thing with research. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, you think you know your audience. I don't think you know you don't know your audience fully. You know, you need to understand them better in order to instead of generalizing your campaign, your brand, mm-hmm. position yourself better in terms of how do I be relevant to my consumer.
Okay. Yeah. So now in your new role in advertising and media,
yeah.
You are bringing your research experience, and it is your intention to use that learning and help connect better for your clients. Yeah, that is amazing. Now, there is a saying that always take research with a pinch of salt.
Yes, I do say that to my clients too.
What do you understand by that?
I think as much as you try to understand, you also have to remember that as a person, even as a person that, present reports and everything, you have to understand all these people that answer surveys, example, the reality is it's how you think of yourself. Mm-hmm. So when I answer a question, how healthy I am, I think typically in a study, 70+% of Malaysians thinks they're healthy. Are they healthy? But it's
okay.
So you cannot take it as 70% of Malaysians claim that they're healthy. But you cannot admit that as 70% claim, but 70% are actually healthy. Do you know what I mean? It's they think they're healthy.
Perception and reality.
It's a perception of themselves.
Perception
correct?
of themselves. Okay.
Correct. It's perception of themselves and what they want to admit to themselves.
So that's the salty bit.
Yeah, it's salty because you have to take a picture of
okay.
You cannot just assume 70. No, we're not that healthy in Malaysia. The Ministry of Health probably would not agree.
Of course. Of course, you're right.
Yeah.
Advertising is also, advertising always is said to mirror society's societal behavior, belief systems, and align also so that it can be more impactful. Yeah. I see that research also is a mirror of sorts.
Yep. You're trying to mirror the population. That's the idea, right? It's when a client gives you a brief, it's like, hey, my campaign, I'm trying to target this group and national distribution, everything. It's so you are trying to create who you're targeting is a profile of people you want to target. So you're mirroring that perception.
Yes.
You're trying to understand that. Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting. The other thing is, a lot of people think, that the way research, not a lot of people don't understand how research works.
Yeah.
Like, for example, let me just give you a very obvious example. Politicians. Yeah. When you tell a politician, do you know that the 50% of the purchasing power of Malaysians actually is in the whole Klang Valley Basin?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. They don't know,
Yeah.
And say, for example, they want to do research and about their constituency or say they want to do research for all of Malaysia, all of Malaysians. They don't understand, for example, that you are doing research on a representative sample.
Yes, correct.
They think that you actually talk to all.
Everyone. Yeah. People, like, when we talk about sample size, although, like, it gets a bit funny, like, at one point. It's just like, you cannot ask everyone realistically.
If they do, I think it will cost
a
billion or $1 trillion.
Correct. So it's people have to understand that, like, example, like, I would tell clients, even small businesses, usually, like, my friends that say, like, example, they want to open their own business. If you are just targeting a general audience, you don't need that much sample. Honestly, it's a very general audience. You just need maybe 150 example to just understand. It depends on how in depth you want your study to be in. But if you just want to get a sense of, like, things, you don't need that many sample to understand.
On that note, I want to ask you, now that we are online, everybody is online.
Yeah.
Online now is a research tool, correct? In those days, it wasn't, right?
Yeah.
How much more different is it? Like, say, for example, you do serious research on a representative sample of, say, 150 people, and somebody else come and tells you, say to your client, hey, this one only 150, not enough for you. I can do online research with 50,000 people. I'm trying to gauge this value, the bridge, the gap. You will know this better.
I think as a brand, example, like, you advertise, right? You advertise on Facebook, Meta. So you have metadata. Example, all this different data, it's all big data. Big data meaning that, like, hey, I have all this data, when they clock in, how much time they spend, all these things. But a lot of people don't know how to use those data. That's one. So you have your dashboard of like, okay, this is how my consumers or people who visit my website look like. That's 50,000 example. But you also can't truly understand why they're there.
Yes, correct.
The why is a very important question to answer. You know they're there. Why they're there? How did I trigger them to get them there? Why do they spend so much time there? What's the thing that is making them stay? Those things you can't get from those data. So those data are very purely data and how do you say, like, Excel sheet math. Like, that's how I see it. Those are good data, but you also have to understand human side, the reasons behind it, the reasons behind your actions. You can't get them from just people visiting your website. You don't know why they're there.
Do you rely on government data, stats and all that in your research? I just find this research thing very interesting.
I do look at them.
You do, huh?
Yes, yeah. It's always good to know, and it's always, sometimes for certain clients and certain brands, it's definitely something you have to refer to.
Good to know.
Yeah. You have to be aware of it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like market stats.
Yeah, correct. But you will still, those data is very factual. How do you say? Yeah. So you still need to understand more than that. Yeah. But it's a good starting. I think it gives you a good reference of, like the statistics website from the government. It's actually pretty good to give you a head start.
Yes.
Of, like, how do I base off things, or how do I break down my consumers, or, like, and it it's quite helpful.
Yes, I saw the latest one. I subscribe to that.
You can go by cities, you can go by states, you can go population. It's very interesting. And I was like very happy that is something that's available to everyone, right? If you are just another person like, I want to open a restaurant, which city? I'm like, oh, this is many people.
Okay.
You
know, after talking to you, I have a new appreciation for people who have worked in research before coming in.
Yeah.
Before coming and lending your expertise into our industry directly, advertising and marketing. Can I ask you, if you tell a marketer that he or she is wrong, wouldn't that cost the person his or her job?
Yeah.
I mean, the honesty of it and the truism. If 150, say, your sample size is a good representative, very effective, very meaningful representative, we must take their views seriously.
Yeah.
And they tell you that this brand is doing completely. We are not on with this brand for these reasons, and that information does not tally with the marketing director who has been hired for a lot of money for his wisdom or her wisdom.
Yeah.
How do you manage that?
That was I feel like especially your campaign, right? Or anything, it's like, hey, they do pre-post.
Yes.
You have as a client, I think they are very optimistic. But sometimes I have to deliver bad news. A lot of bad news sometimes, and it's
bad news costs jobs.
Yes, it does. And it costs job, but it's reality.
I was in a presentation once where this sort of information, market intelligence was shared with a regional client. Sorry, global client. I can tell you now it was Coca-Cola, many years ago. And global client, one representative was there. Regional boss, one representative was there. Global, regional, and national. So, of course, everybody, everybody got their own, as you mentioned, self-fulfilling prophecy, their own confirmation bias about what they believe in and that should be right and all that based on their also experiences. And when the truth was revealed and it went against the grain of their general thinking, it was not very long. I think 1 year or so later, the people were changed.
I don't think mistakes happen. It's not even like, for example, like especially when you didn't have anything to go from. You are basing your campaign from assumptions. You are basing everything. I don't think it should cost anyone's job, from my opinion. But the campaign, everything, like sometimes I do have to deliver bad news. But I think to me, I'm a very positive person in the sense of
yes, I agree with you.
So it's there's bad news, but like it's good to know now.
Yes.
Better know now than not know.
I agree.
You might as well understand this now. Like these things don't work. So stop investing. Stop continuing this. You are glad that you did research.
Yes.
Now, so that you know that all these things that you've done, it doesn't work. And these are the ones that you might get sales everywhere else, but it might be impacted from somewhere else.
It's very interesting talking to you, Farah. We went into areas which may give a lot of points to ponder upon, and it would have not been possible if we did not have this conversation. So I want to thank you.
Thank you so much.
And wish you all the best.
Yes. Thank you.
So ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Fara Musa on the NexGen show. All the best and see you all again.